Welcome in, everyone, to the Odds Shopper Network. I'm Rod Villagomez, back with another day of Women's World Cup betting action. 3 games on the slate for you tonight as the United States taking on the Netherlands, returning to action in this World Cup. And then later it will be Vietnam taking on Portugal and Australia taking on Nigeria. Last night, really good action in the World Cup. Japan beating Costa Rica 2-0. Spain taking it to Zambia 5-0, also helping cash our over 2.5 goals in the second half bet for there. And then Canada wrapping it up with a 2-1 win against Ireland early this morning. Again, like we said, the United States returning to action in the World Cup today. Looking forward to that. It's a 6 o'clock start on the West Coast, 9 o'clock for those of you out there on the East Coast. And of course, wherever you're at, whatever time that is for you out there as well. So let's start by breaking down this U.S.-Netherlands game. It is a rematch of the 2019 World Cup Finals, where the United States beat the Netherlands 2-0 to take home the World Cup Championship. Here's the thing. At minus 139 on the money line, we're going to take the U.S. on the money line at minus 139 from our friends over at Bet Rivers. We have seen some outrageous numbers for outright winners over the course of the tournament. So minus 139 is almost a gift for us to take. It's still a little bit pricey. I get it, but the United States has not lost a match all year long. They played 9 between the World Cup, the Friendlies, and the She Believe Cup. Have not lost a single one of those. So for a team that hasn't lost a game in 9 matches at minus 139 to win this one, you got to love it. They've outscored their opponents 22-1 in that span as well. So completely dominating their opponents in that span. 14 World Cup games over the last 3 World Cup appearances that they've won with just 1 draw in that span. That was against Sweden in 2015. So we all know how much of a juggernaut this U.S. team is. We all know that they're probably going to end up winning this game. So minus 139 is definitely a gift. But the Netherlands aren't going to be a pushover. It's not going to be as if they're going to be an easy team to beat. They've won 4 of their last 6 games on their own. Obviously, they made it to the finals in 2019, which means they're a very solid opponent. They've got wins against Portugal, Belgium, Poland, and Austria in that span. Their only 2 losses came to Germany and Austria as well. So, again, this game's not going to be easy, which is exactly why the U.S. is only favored by a little bit, really, if you put it in perspective. So definitely taking the U.S. money line at minus 139 from our friends over at Bet Rivers. Let's talk about Portugal versus Vietnam. This should be a very low-scoring game. I'll lay it out here in a second. So we're going to take the under on this one. Under 2.5 goals at plus 135 from our friends over at Bet365. I say it should be low-scoring. Vietnam, though, has allowed 16 goals over their last 2 months. May seem like a really high number and a reason for us to take the over on this, but 3 goals were given up against the United States in the World Cup earlier a couple days ago. That's the U.S. They're a juggernaut of a team. They could have scored more, but they only scored 3, which is pretty impressive considering Vietnam's given up a ton of goals. Spain scored 9 against them 2 weeks ago, though, in the friendlies. So 12 goals have come in 2 games. Outside of that, New Zealand only scored 2 against them. Germany only scored 2 against them. I feel like that's more of what we can expect with Portugal versus the U.S. or Spain, who are both juggernauts of teams anyways. So for Portugal, on their side of it, they have not scored a goal this month in their 2 games, which is why I say to you, it's probably difficult for them to be able to reach 3 goals in this game. Vietnam has not scored a goal. They've only scored 1 goal in the last 2 years. Again, these 2 teams, not very offensive-minded. Portugal has only scored more than 1 goal once this year, and that was the 5 that they scored against New Zealand. So not very impressive offensive numbers for either one of these teams. Both defenses can probably keep these offenses at bay, hold this game to under 2.5 goals. We may even see just 2 goals in this game. Again, that is at plus 135 from our friends over at Bet365. And if you're looking for where to bet on the Women's World Cup, look no further than Bet365. They're available in over 100 countries worldwide. They've started to make some noise in the U.S., specifically with their market-leading sign-up bonus. It's available in New Jersey, Ohio, Colorado, Virginia, and Iowa. If you're in the US, you can bet $1 on the Women's World Cup and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Once you've signed up, you can also take advantage of their soccer parlay bonus. It offers payouts boosts of up to 70% on your World Cup parlays. Plus, you can sign up at Bet365 outside the US from over 100 countries with our international link below. And the welcome offer will vary depending on your region. As an international bookmaker, No Sports has more experience in creating solid markets for soccer, making this your best option to place these bets. Bets like our next one. It's Australia taking on Nigeria. We're going to say that the half with the most goals in this is the second half. You're getting this at plus 110 over on Bet365. Again, the second half with the most goals. Both of Australia's goals this month have come in the second half. It's only been 1-0 games in both of those games, but both of those goals were scored in the second half. In their match versus Scotland in April, only one goal came in the second half, which was the only one they needed. So that was definitely the highest scoring goal. For Nigeria, they've scored 2 goals in the second half versus New Zealand so far. Nigeria and Haiti combined for 2 goals in the second half, which was the highest scoring half in their game. And Nigeria has seen second half as the highest scoring half in 3 of their last 5 games. Both of these teams, slow starters, but pick it up in the second half. So we are going to take Australia versus Nigeria and say that the half with the most goals is the second half. Again, that can be found at plus 110 from our friends over at Bet365. So let's recap these bets that we've got for you and send you off to fill out your cards for this day of Women's World Cup action. We're going to take the U.S. on the money line, minus 139 at Bet Rivers, and have fun watching that later on tonight. Then we're going to say that Portugal versus Vietnam is going to stay under 2.5 goals at plus 135 over on Bet365. And then we're going to wrap it up with Australia and Nigeria, the second half with the most goals at plus 110 over on Bet365. Another fun day of Women's World Cup action in the group round taking on. So have some fun watching the games, have some fun betting on the games, and we will see you tomorrow with more Women's World Cup action here on the Odds Shopper Network.